What is up, guys? Zebec and XRP. XRP haters will weep. They will weep. And Zebec more yield. As always, shout out to my guy Indigo Saint. Let's get it. Boom. Let's get it. Indigo Saint in the building. Black Who Investing. Let's go.
Who's this producer?
Best believe I was black or invested. With your money, you ain't gotta be guessing. Profits is what we manifested. So we binge on that black or invested. Best believe I was black or invested. Got course in this race, we ain't resting. We got stocks, we got crypto with a blessing. Just thank God for that black or invested. Best believe I was black or invested.
What's going on, guys? Yesterday just wrapped up another open mic night. We went 2 hours and 40 minutes with the crew. Shout out to the Patreon members. We got one in the crowd right now. What's up, Kevin Garrett? We were in there for 2 hours and 30 minutes. Always a fun time. What's up, Ra? Appreciate you for coming through. So we're going to get at it today. I think Zebec has kind of they quieted some of their haters with something I'm going to share with you guys today. So we should get into it today. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. One of the biggest things that people like proponents to Zebec, like one of their problems with it is like, oh, well, people who use, the 2-day payroll cycle, they get money off of having your payroll, delayed for 2 days, right? They get to earn interest off of your money sitting there and not paying you for 2 weeks. So here in comes something like Solstice, where I'll blow this up so you guys can see it a little bit better here. Introducing a new way for enterprises to put pre-funded payroll capital to work. Zebec is integrating Solstice's USX across our payroll system, enabling enterprises to earn rewards on payroll balances ahead of payout, bringing yield directly into the payroll experience. So regardless of them paying you as you're working in real-time streaming payroll, whatever's pre-funded is still earning yield for that company, right, that's doing the payroll. So now this kind of insulates a little bit for them the, I guess, burden of paying you real time, right? Because they know now sitting in stable coins, their money is still going to earn yield as they're paying you in real time. Okay. So that's a big win in my opinion. You can see here through the integration of pre-funded payroll balances, they can earn USX rewards during the time between funding and payout. For employees, the experience stays simple: receive payroll, hold a dollar balance, and spend through the Zebec cards. USX is set to expand across Zebec's payroll infrastructure and super app, which together support 500 million plus in annual payroll volume and more than 50K plus monthly active users. Learn about the integration. Learn about Earn on Pay and the integration below here. So definitely check that out. You got blends and some people from the communities giving some love. George San Martin, Crypto Neptune here, Bobbing Lantern, and others here. Shout out to those guys. What's that? Captain Zach. So wonderful there. There's also on-chain freedom there. Shout out to those guys. Now we're going to listen to a piece of the most recent spaces in which Simon broke this down. It's funny, we got this clip. We should play this right quick since Captain Zach just put this in here. All right, okay. Let's hit a Denzel clip right quick. I'm putting cases on all you.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
Had to hit that right quick. Shout out to Denzel. So let's get into the spaces in which they break some of this down. Specifically, I want to cover the last 10 minutes of the spaces. Again, the beginning of the spaces, they kind of get into like, look, Solstice and USX. We've been a funded company. We've done this for 4 years. Like it takes something. It really takes something, right, to have a stable coin that earns yield, and they've done it, audited, all of that. So they're officially official, right? But let's pick it up here at the 25-minute.
Well, I think from our perspective, payroll is really the obvious answer here. I mean, it's still largely trapped in what we call the legacy system. It runs on ACH, on Swift, on intermediaries that take 3 to 5 days and hefty fees. And we really think that we're in the early stages right now of a paradigm shift in how employers imagine and run global payroll on stablecoin rails. And broadly speaking, this is exactly what the crypto industry needs at this point in its life cycle. By solving payroll, you effectively solve the entry point in the ecosystem. It's a top of the funnel solution. It brings more stablecoin flows into the system, and it has a multiplier effect through other aspects of the crypto economy. So using some numbers here, $11 trillion is the size of the US payroll volume currently. Globally, it's more like 50 trillion. Now, which portion of that is currently happening on stablecoin rails? Well, that's in the single-digit billions. So the market opportunity is enormous. And as you see,
I like how Simon broke that down. US payroll is around 11 trillion. The world's payroll is around 50 trillion, right? And he says right now, the portion of that that's in stable coins might be billions. So there's such room for growth. And keep in mind what Zebec has with all the compliances they have, all the audits they have. They're like a leg and a way. They're way ahead of the competition with that, right? So if they can just get a smidgen of that market, right? And we know they're taking that value from those stable coins and they're putting it into Zebec the token. They showed us that with their tokenomics. Like we're really sitting in the driver's seat of something that should be a winner when it comes to this bull market that we're just starting to enter, right? We're just starting to enter here. So what does that look like for Zebec? 5 million market cap, 5 billion, excuse me, 5 billion market cap, passing its all-time high and beyond. If they can just even get a little bit of this market share, right? So let's continue here.
See treasuries getting tokenized and more employers actually start running these pilot programs on stablecoins, I have no doubt that we'll see $100 billion plus in payroll payments happening on stablecoin rails in the next few years.
So perfect segue, Simon, there. $100 billion plus in the next few years. And that makes a whole total lot of sense. You see all these companies getting ready to use AI agents. You see companies like Franklin Templeton, we'll talk about them later, getting a whole crypto wing ready, and a whole, agentic AI, field ready to dominate there, ready to start the whole thing of agentic AI. And we play for you Charles Hoskinson, in which he said, right, that AI agents will control wallets, right? Kind of backed up what Sandy Cole and others have said about AI agents. So again, I know people are saying, oh, there's going to be an AI bubble. There's going to be an AI bubble. Perhaps that's true, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about with agentic AI. Agentic AI and automation, that's the future. Will some of these copycat AI companies fall by the wayside? Yes. But the agentic AI controlling all of these crypto wallets and making things easier as far as friction and the movement of money and banking the unbanked, oh yeah, that's happening, right? And that's happening big time. And Zebec will be a part of that. Franklin Templeton will be a part of that. Solana will be a part of that. XRP will be a part of that. PAT, which we've talked about before. Shout out to Shook Focus Digital. Shout out to the Crypto Crossroads, right? Will be a part of that, right? So the opportunity we have in front of us is absolutely amazing, and we'll talk about that later. I want to show you guys something where people who may have not made all the greatest choices, where they're at right now, right? And for our families, I don't want that for any one of us, right? I don't want that for any one of us. So when I share what I share later, it's not to down any families, but it's just like to say us, we need to pre-plan, right? But let's continue.
Thank you, Simon. Appreciate that. We're seeing enormous transaction volume. Like, I'd, you know, challenge the headline that stable coins are simply beating Visa or MasterCard. I'd say like the blockchain transfer volume and consumer card payment volume aren't necessarily measuring the same thing. And I'm really interested. There's a couple of things I want to kind of touch on here. Ben, I'd love to come back to you very quickly. Do you think we eventually reach a world where holding non-yielding digital dollars kind of feels strange? And does yield become like standard feature of digital money rather than it as a specialist DeFi product, which some might look at it as right now?
I mean, I would say other than the treasury yields dynamic, no. The yielding products in general, and this is one of the major things that is always forgotten with a lot of DeFi projects, is that yield is not just a thing that comes out of thin air. It's not a basic utility. This takes real work and real financial management. And in the same way that trust and transparency needs to be built with the stable coins that are being issued in the market, even a further level of due diligence needs to be offered to those yield-bearing products. And so unless it's just purely playing the treasuries, which is a well-understood yield dynamic by everybody in the financial world, the yield dynamic should be something that is constantly scrutinized. Anybody that's offering yields out into the market needs to have a very strong case for that. And for example of that, right, we offer delta neutral strategy, like I've said. This wasn't something that we came out to market with and said, hey, we back tested it for a few years and it looks good, invest hundreds of millions of dollars in it. We've had this strategy live and in the market for 4.5 years with direct third-party audited returns. And we said we have a trusted ability to execute a yield strategy at scale. This is something that is trustworthy for the retail and institutional investors. And that's exactly what we saw as a result. So I would say yield is not an inherent utility or right. And I would say that the core stablecoin access, especially for things like payments, which if it's going to be yield bearing, that kind of rules out a lot of the payment dynamics. In a lot of ways, you need that core stable currencies. What we need to be focusing on the core stablecoin side is adoption into more TradFi use cases.
So let me pause in there. He makes a excellent point. Yield's not necessarily right when he's talking about that from the company point of view, where like they've been a company for 4 years, they've proved this, they've audited this, right? If you're going to be offering yield on a stable coin, you better be able to back that up, because if you can't, you're losing people's money, right? So he's saying that that's not the case with Solstice. That's not the case with USX. They've audited, they've proved this product for years now, and they're going to continue down that realm. And you know, right now he's saying that adoption is the biggest thing that's needed right now when it comes to stable coins. And I can, you know, definitely I think that's true, because I think Simon also mentioned this in one of the previous spaces, that some people don't even realize that stable coin means that it's pegged to a fiat currency. They think it's something like, you know, Bitcoin, where they're going to make money from it. Like, no lie, a lot of people do think that, right? So adoption is going to be paramount coming up here in the next few years. And with AI agents and wallets like that, I think they're going to achieve that. Especially, I think they're going to achieve that by sending out possibly some UBI or something like that, or a stimulus or something, and introduce people to it that way. That would be interesting if they did it that way. I know that Stellar is working on that, something like that in the Marshall Islands, I believe. So, you know, be interesting if something like that happened in the US, that like Donald Trump sent out some stimulus checks, but you had to use it via stable coins, right? That would that would just really onboard ton of people very, very quickly. And Donald Trump has no problem just doing it if it needs to be done, right? He already showed us that on the 18th with what he did with the Genius Act, or let's say what he had Paul Atkins do until Congress figures out Genius or Clarity, excuse me. Until the Congress figures out Clarity, he had Paul Atkins say, "Look, we're moving forward anyway."
Everybody, when they go to a payment processor, when they go to paying for their bills, when they go to pay for groceries and gas, that all needs to be done in stablecoins. Charging an extra 4% for credit cards at gas stations, for example, is not acceptable in 2026. This is something that we've bypassed in the crypto industry for years, and it's not in our day-to-day lives still. And if there's any focus point on the core stablecoin access, it needs to be, rent, groceries, gas, etc., that stablecoins start coming into the use cases for.
Okay, and that makes sense. And with America, that's not too bad, right? Because most of us do tap with our phone and use our Apple or Google Pay. And in other countries, you get them a phone, hey, that's probably all that they need. And that you can think about that being the use case for mobile banking, right? Where instead of having these people try to have to go to a brick and mortar, you give them a phone, you pay them on the phone, and you can track them also with the phone, right? That's a point that's there, right? But banking the unbanked through mobile banking is probably going to be the easiest, least friction way for people to bank, for the powers to be to bank the unbanked, right? And of course, again, this is kind of a reaction. If you guys want to listen to the whole thing uninterrupted, go on to Zebec Network and listen to Yield, Privacy, and the Pound. But here we're gonna stop a few different times.
Love that. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Josh, I saw you drop down there for a moment. Are you back with us? Are we good to come?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. I have another question for you, which is and I don't mean to touch on it again, but obviously, the overwhelming majority of stable coins to date have been dollar denominated. Does that create a risk for stablecoin adoption simply because it's kind of like another form of dollarization and the rest of the world doesn't necessarily automatically lean into it? And does something like TGBP become really important, not just as another stablecoin, but as a way of ensuring like sterling remains relevant and the rest of the world, and particularly from a UK perspective in this instance, kind of starts to discover more on-chain activity and what they can do in that sector?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the market. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah, hear you perfectly, my friend.
Perfect. So,
Thanks.
yeah, it really depends on the market. I think, especially in some emerging markets, there is the very real risk of dollarization, especially where people don't want to hold any funds at all in their local currency because it has undergone inflation. But when you look at like a very mature market like the UK, I think it's less for risk, especially today. It is kind of a multipolar world where the US isn't the only hegemon. So in that world, people are looking to diversify their risks. So they're not just holding dollars, they're holding pounds, they're holding euros, they're maybe holding Swiss francs. So yeah.
Bro's having a very nuanced conversation, a very high level conversation, but let's try to distill it down. Well, we know that most people in other countries, they'd rather hold dollars because dollars generally, right, are worth more than any other currency. So if you're somewhere in the UAE, in the Middle East, you would probably want to hold dollars because a dollar will go farther than a dirham, right? That's probably any Middle Eastern country, right? Except for like where they have the dinar and it's like worth a lot, right? That's probably true of any Asian country as well. If you're holding a dollar, it's probably way better for you. It's probably worth way more, right? But if you're in Britain, where the money's a little bit more, the British pound's maybe a little bit more than the dollar, you would probably want to go with the British pound. And again, Zebec is global. They can use almost any stable coin, and them using the TGBP, the pound sterling, right? is another example of that. So when we're thinking about Zebec and we use the 11 trillion, that's the 11 trillion for payroll for the US, we honestly really should be using the 50 trillion, which is the global payroll that Simon just mentioned. So they can hit that whole 50 trillion market, right? And you can do the math on what a 1 percentage point of that is, right? So that's more than enough to break its all-time high, and that's why a lot of people believe that Zebec eventually can get to $1 a share, because they have this entire globe, this entire realm, if you will, to do payroll for. So yeah, he was saying in the area of the British pound, people would probably in the British area, the UK area, they probably just want to hold pounds and not dollars. But the even more sophisticated investor would want to hold a blend, so they're not so dependent on if the dollar goes down or not. They would want to hold a blend of the dollar and a blend of the pound, sort of like how Metallicus has its Metallicus dollar, it's XMD, where they have a blend of different stable coins, right? All dollar denominated stable coins, but who knows, maybe at one time, one day, like a governance proposal, they add non-American dollars, and the metal dollar is a blend of a whole bunch of different currencies, not just US ones, but also including pound sterling, maybe even the dirham. Who knows? That could be a government's proposal, right?
It really depends on the market, but I think, at least for us, we believe we're in a pretty good space.
Great stuff. Quinton, I wanted to come back to you, Mr. Quibbs, even. Sorry, my bad. If I can, and just ask you something, because we've had a lot of a fair few episodes of these spaces where we've spoken about like compliance and regulation and those kind of things. And obviously we've spoken here about privacy from your end as a real kind of major. Are privacy and regulatory compliance kind of a little bit incompatible? Like, I wonder what you're finding as you develop your model. Is there a model where we can satisfy legitimate regulatory requirements without putting somebody's like entire financial history onto the public ledger? Like, what's the middle ground that you're trying to walk when you're dealing with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, to answer your question, I mean, their intention, intention with each other, but not incompatible. Cash proves that cash is fully private and legal everywhere. And compliance sits on institutions at the edges, exchanges, businesses, payment firms do their KYC and reporting, not on the money itself, right? So, and private stablecoins fit this same model, in my opinion, regulated on and off ramps, private peer-to-peer transfers in between. But we can do even better than that with Zano, right? Privacy tech like Zano supports selective disclosure via view keys, right? So you can prove to a tax authority or an auditor exactly what they need without publishing your history, your transaction history, and your balance to the entire world. And in my opinion, that's arguably stronger compliance than a transparent chain where regulators get to deal with all the other noise for the other transactions, and criminals might as well just use mixers of some sort. So yeah, I think they're intention but not incompatible, right? That would be my answer.
Yeah.
So very cool there with the Freedom Dollar that's built on Zano. He's saying there, people can get around things with mixers, right? Yeah, we know this part, but he's saying sort of like how Canton and their DAML does this at, like, it seems like the network layer. They can do something similar where with your stable coin, with your Freedom Dollar, it can be selectively private. It can still be audited to say, to achieve an audit trail, but what needs to stay private can still be private. So I can see this being useful for businesses more than the common person. The common person might not really just care. You know, I'm sure there's some people that will say, okay, yeah, I want my stuff to be private. It's nobody's business. Okay, I got those people. But what they're talking about with the freedom dollar here might actually be most advantageous to businesses that don't want people to know, okay, how much did we bid for this? How much did we bid for that? How much we're paying out, who's paying it out, and where and why. That might actually be most suitable for a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Simon, I don't know how you feel about this, but obviously we've had a little bit of an update in terms of when the Clarity Act is going to be voted upon. I think it's middle of next month now, so we should probably pull everyone back in to see if we can have a really good discussion about that and kind of like, you know, what greater regulatory clarity feels like, looks like, and really kind of like focus in on that for a full episode. So with that in mind, I've you know, I'm conscious of everyone's time. We should be at the end now. I do have two really quick fire questions that I'd love to just ask you guys very quickly. So I'll do it quickly. Just jump in. 5 years from now, where are stable coins most important? And I'll go Ben, Josh, and then Mr. Quibbs.
I would say then the commercialization stack of AI and agentic commerce. That is by far going to be the use case, right? If you think about what the end goal is a bunch of AI agents sending stable coins back and forth to each other. So the use cases in 5 years will be the early adoptions of the agentic commerce really coming to light, and really seeing that commercialization track at hyperspeed in the AI world. That's the thing that we're most excited for, and the thing that we're positioning Solstice to be a part of as soon as possible.
So he's saying there again, we hear this is from the Solstice guy. I think he's the CEO or co-founder of Solstice, in which AI agents will be controlling wallets, right? Even from the commercial side, right? Which we know Simon's gotten into that with Ripple payments and Ripple Treasury, in which these treasuries will be using AI agents to control their wallets, right? And companies like Shielded, Charles's company, Charles Hoskinson, Midnight, and Near, and different agencies like this are going to make sure that that's safe, confidential, and down to the hardware level, right? Excuse me. This is the future of stablecoins. This is the future of AI, right? And we have the ability to get on the ground floor when it comes to companies like Near, when it comes to companies like Zebec. Oh, what a wonderful time we have, right? That we can do that. Let's continue.
Love that. So many of the Zebec community would agree. Josh, how about you? 5 years from now, what do you think is really important from this perspective?
Yeah, I think it's the interconnective tissue between an entire world of tokenized assets, whether that be tokenized money market funds or tokenized stocks, not just at the institutional side, but also all the way down to the end retail user to enable, at the end of the day, more financial freedom.
Absolutely. Mr. Quibbs, from you, anything different?
In my opinion, it will be most important in countries where the banking system underserves, right? For those users, the digital dollar is life-changing, but a digital dollar that surveils them and can be frozen by a foreign company is not.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's such a good point.
Now, that's interesting how you phrase that. In places where banks are underserved, or where banks underserve people, I could think about this being in the UAE, in certain Latin American countries where there aren't banks like that, but there might be a whole bunch of cash. There may be a whole bunch of cash there in which people would want to use a privacy dollar and move their funds, right? And there is a use case for that. And it's not only, people doing nefarious things. This is like, honest to goodness, good people that just have in cash businesses that want to move their cash. And, this would be an avenue for that.
and we forget, certainly if we live in the UK, the States, etc., how fortunate we are in terms of the way our system works. And you are absolutely right. There is so much to gain from this for countries that are underserved by their existing banking system. Great point. Simon, I want to bring you in now for the final question, if that's okay with you, and then perhaps you can answer it and then kind of close us out as well. What do you think the biggest misconception people still have about like stable coins is, and what do you think of the solutions that these three partners are coming up with?
Well, I think you'd be surprised to hear it, but many people really who are not very crypto native or well versed in digital assets, they confuse stable coins for having a level of volatility akin to Bitcoin. So education is still going to be needed really to drive mass adoption. The majority of people still do not use stable coins. They don't have wallet infrastructure in place. So we still have a lot of work to do to onboard, the next hundreds of millions of people into the stablecoin economy. But
Right, and I'm glad he mentioned that. I couldn't remember which spaces he said that on, but apparently it was this one. Yeah, there are some people that really think that stable coins are volatile like Bitcoin. They don't understand that it's tied to a fiat, right? And there are reserves that need to be happening for it. It's akin to a dollar, right? So a lot of people do not understand that, right? So there is an education that needs to happen there.
good news is that the solutions do exist, right? Working with flexible stablecoin solutions like our guest today on the show, as well as wallet as a service solutions and other tools that we have integrated in Zebec products that just make using stablecoins no more difficult than using a neobank or a traditional bank account.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Simon. I think, the really interesting thing from the conversation that we're using today, we're using one word, and that is stablecoin, and yet we're using it to describe some really increasingly different pieces of financial infrastructure. And we've heard about it from like a yield perspective. We've heard about bringing local currencies into the mix, like sterling, for example. We've talked about privacy and financial sovereignty. So I think these things are all super, super important. And I'd like to thank Ben from Solstice, Mr. Quibbs from Zano and Freedom Dollar, and Josh from Tokenized GBP. And of course, Simon from Zebec for joining us. Thank you to everybody also for listening. Guys, I don't know if you just want to very quickly say goodbye, but I appreciate we're
Okay, so we're gonna get into some more stuff, and we'll get into the XRP portion of the show. And shout out to Ben White, who does an excellent job of hosting these things. Man, being a host is such a complex job, and he does it right, man. Good. Shout out to you, Ben White. Shout out to Simon. Shout out to everyone on that call for sure. Now the XRP portion of the show, where haters are going to weep. The haters are going to weep. Haters are going to be pimp slap just like this.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face? What? Slap!
Get ready for the haters to be pimp slapped just like that, because that's what time it is on this Sunday. Oh yeah.
Didn't need them then, don't need them now.
So shout out to Macho Man and that. So here we have here XRP ETFs. Now, the 7 major ones we have here, just want to remind people, the Bitwise one and the Franklin Templeton one, those are the major ones in the US stock market, right? We got the Canary Capital, 21 shares, Grayscale, Brex Osprey, and Bitwise Index, right? So 7, right? And these are some of the biggest investing firms in the world, especially Bitwise and Franklin Templeton for sure, right? So when everybody's like preying on XRP's downfall and saying XRP can't get to this or that, remember that you got some of the biggest companies, a Grayscale, a 21 shares, Canary Capital, Franklin Templeton, Bitwise, that are spot invested in XRP to the tune of 1.41 billion assets under management. This is not even counting Evernorth, who I believe themselves have $1 billion in XRP tokens. This is not counting digital asset treasuries and different things like that that are holding on to XRP in tokens. But I was looking at some Form 13F filings from the SEC, and guess what? The National Bank of Canada is holding one of these XRP ETFs, specifically Bitwise XRP ETF, to the tune of 333 or 330. Of course, the number 33 has to be in there, right? K shares of Bitwise XRP ETF. So, National Bank of Canada, you can add them to that list. As well, you can add to that list Morgan Stanley, right? So Morgan Stanley, according to this Form 13F, if it'll allow me to search, is holding 4 different XRP ETFs. Yeah, this form, they're holding so much stuff that literally it won't allow me to search. And I loaded this up before we even started here. Okay, we'll wait on this one, but they're holding 4 different XRP ETFs. Bitwise is one of them. They're holding so much stuff that my machine is asking me to wait here. But there you go. JP Morgan. This is a researchable fact if anyone wants to go look and find it themselves, but it's a researchable fact. Here we go. It's finally loading up here. Okay, there we go. They're holding Franklin Templeton ETF. They're holding some there earlier here. Okay, yeah, it's having trouble loading all of these, but they're holding one of the Franklin Templeton, and they're holding some more, but my computer here is having a little trouble. So we'll get back to that. But the bottom line of it is they're holding both the National Bank of Canada and Morgan Stanley are holding XRP, right? So with all of those things that have vested interest in XRP, why are we still thinking that it's going to go to zero? Like what's the deal there, right? But let's get into some of our comments here. But before we get into our comments, I just want to let you guys know, bottom line, before any of that, right? XRP has created a higher floor every time, right? It went from around like 15 cents to 30 cents. It was 30 cents for the longest time, then 50 cents to $1, and had $1 floor to now it's back at $1.50. It's getting to a point in time where it's going to be unaffordable for anyone else to get into XRP, right? And I want to show you something because there are people out here. I live in Arizona, and there are people out here in Arizona speed roommating, right? So let's listen to this. This is from ABC 15 Arizona. Hopefully they'll let me keep this in the video. if you see this removed from the video later, I had to cut it, but let's play it. So they're saying rent rates in February, medium asking rent, and this is from last year. Okay, national average is up to 1,607. Phoenix is around 1,482 on average from Redfin. Let's play.
Okay, so with costs this high, though, you might be in the market for a roommate. But how do you find one? And how about a twist on speed dating?
This is interesting. ABC 15's Jamie Warren looking into the new concept of speed roommating. Jamie.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm curious if either of you have ever done speed dating before. Let's be real here. You kind of know the second you're up there at the table with the person face to face that maybe you're not really feeling the vibes. The same could be said when you're going to find a roommate. You do all that legwork online. The second you get to the house, maybe it's not a perfect match. So that is why this event is being held here tonight at Angel's Trumpet Ale House in downtown Phoenix. And we do have some video to show you what the previous events have looked like. So they've held them in London and New York before, but this is a first for here in Phoenix. Looks like a lot of people just kind of hanging out, drinking at a bar, right? Well, unlike speed dating, they've gotten rid of the tables and the timers and the pressure, those clammy hands, right? It is more of a mixer. Also notice the stickers you could put on to help identify your personality, what type of roommate you would be. Are you a sports watcher? Are you a dancing queen in the living room? But in all seriousness, data from Smart Asset shows that you need to at least be making $49,000 a year here in Phoenix to keep up with your monthly rental payments on a 2-bedroom apartment. But that does not mean that you'll be living comfortably. In fact, with an overall increase in the cost of living from groceries to just about everything, data from the roommate finding website Spare Room shows that there has been a huge rise in people looking to share their rent. And that is part of why Matt Hutchinson with Spare Room tells me they're putting on tonight's event.
There's always the cost saving, but there's also, I think that there are other benefits as well. Often you can live in a nicer apartment in a nicer area if you share, but there's also all those connections. As rents rise and people find themselves struggling to do anything other than make their rent every month, people don't have money left to go out and socialize. They don't have that kind of spare bit of cash to go and be in a bar or go to a concert. And so actually your roommates become a real social support network.
Okay,
so that's in Phoenix, right? They also mentioned they had them in New York. And here we go. Here's San Francisco here that we're going to share here in just a second. Same company, Spare Room. Let's play.
You are in the Bay Area. We all know it costs a lot to live here. We're about to have to write that check again. It's almost the first. And finding a roof over your head that's affordable is not easy. But one company is trying to change that with its own sort of matchmaking service. Lorena Ayub explains how Spare Room works.
You may have heard of speed dating. Well, welcome to the era of speed roommating. Put on by roommate finding service Spare Room, the new gatherings are helping roommate seekers like Priyanka Shaddy find an ideal housemate.
I've been here in the Bay Area for 5 years now, and I'm looking to move to the city. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity to find a roommate here. The rent's like obnoxious to live alone.
Priyanka is not alone. According to Spare Room, at around $3,000 a month for a 1-bedroom in San Francisco, more people are looking to share rent. But instead of blindly living
$3,000 median in San Francisco. Crazy.
With strangers, the gatherings help people find safe and compatible roommates.
Priority should be your safety and mental sanity, right? That is very important. And if that can be conducive with other people, yeah, why not?
With attendees notating their budgets and preferred neighborhoods, Rupert Hunt, the CEO of Spare Room, says these gatherings not only help people save time and money, but also might save you from some unnecessary roommate trauma.
The trouble is occasionally you maybe spend an hour or two going to a viewing, but then you might know within moments that you wouldn't get on with the person that you're going to live with. So this is just a more immediate version of Spare Room where you meet the people you're going to live with. And, you know, it's the people that are going to make or break the experience, not the size of the room or the power of the shower.
Participants display their shared interests while finding someone to share their bills with, too.
If you could save $1,000 by splitting it with somebody and have a decent living situation, why not? It's a win-win, right?
Because in the Bay Area, the real love story might just be about finding that perfect roommate.
Wouldn't it be nice if
Like, this is how dire that things are getting for people. And this is no disrespect to anyone that has a roommate, right? But as inflation continues to inflate, right? The dollar, I think, is somewhere at like 96% or yeah, 96% of what it used to be, right? And we're moving into maybe XRP, Bitcoin being world reserve currencies. That's what I think people are missing, the whole store of value for XRP. So when you see JP Morgan, Franklin Templeton, the National Bank of Canada, and these things hold on to XRP in this type of level, then you can believe, okay, maybe XRP's thing may be store of value, right? And we can even look at things like BitcoinTreasuries.com, right? Where multiple governments, multiple companies, countries that hold and own Bitcoin, USA, China, UK, the Ukraine, right? Bhutan, El Salvador, Finland, okay? And even, the country of Georgia has a little bit. And Roswell, New Mexico, okay, filed that they have 0.2% of a Bitcoin. So they're getting into the game, right? Some of the biggest companies in the world are getting into the game. The Rumbles of the world, the SpaceX's, I think, is on here too, right? Let me see here. Of course, we know Clean Spark. We made tons of money with Clean Spark. We were in Clean Spark at $1.44 on this channel. Okay, shout out to the Patreon. Less than a cup of coffee there. Let's see, SpaceX. Yep, there we go. SpaceX, Tezos, Tesla is on this list as well somewhere. Block, of course, we know. Block is on this list. Used to be Square, right? Cardone Capital, Grant Cardone. Like, the list goes on. So, of course, we know MicroStrategy, right? And then the various Bitcoin ETFs. And who knows, just like we showed you, the Bank of Canada holds, one of the XRP ETFs, and Morgan Stanley. Who knows how many companies are holding IBIT, right? Or any of the other various ETFs, right? You really don't want to be a UBI slave out here, guys, right? And yeah, a lot of people are living in shipping containers now. Like, and again, I'm not saying this to disrespect anyone. I'm saying this for people to understand, like, maybe you might be in a good spot right now, but a couple years later down the road, and believe me, I'm not just talking to, I'm talking to just because I'm a black man doesn't mean I'm just talking to black people, okay? I'm talking to anybody poor or middle class who wants more, right? Who wants more for themselves and their family, right? Like, I would not want my family to be on UBI. I would want that for my family. I know none of you want that for your family. So I'm saying to you guys, hey, this might be the last chance in a while for you to make a difference for your family. Not financial advice and all of that, but for real, guys. I could just bring up the XRP chart. I can bring up the Bitcoin chart, and it doesn't take a chartologist. It doesn't take a what do you call it? Like a rocket scientist to see, if we look at these charts, that they've created higher higher highs from where they were with their lows. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart because it's easier to see. So let me get rid of RSIs and things like that. So you can see here, let me get rid of some of my indicators so you can see it even more clearly. And you can ignore the lines, right? But higher highs is what Bitcoin has been doing. It's kicked gold's ass, to pardon my French, but it has. XRP has done something similar. Stellar has done something similar. Zebec has done something similar. You want to change the trajectory of your family, right? Investing in assets is the way to go, in my humble opinion, y'all. You know, and it saddens me to see that, man. Like a lot of those people, you know, God rest my mother's soul, are like my mother and father are passed now, but those people are old enough to be my mother and father, and they're out here having to look for roommates. You know, God bless them, and I hope they find a nice roommate. But I want none of that for any of you guys. I want none of that for any of you guys. So this might be the last chance we got here, right? Let's take advantage. And communities like this, shout out to Crux of Crypto, his community, Rob, Crypto Future, you know, Maximus Crypto. Communities like this are the communities that are going to separate you guys and put you in the driver's seat for your family and what's to come with this great reset. You see, they're getting all the robots ready, right? They're getting all the agentic AI ready. Jobs are going to be really hard to come by. Let's let's attack the stock market and this crypto market together, guys. Let me kind of show you here. They just had the robot Olympics in China. So the robots are coming for your jobs. Doesn't matter if you just do engineering like me, or you're a welder or whatever. They're trying to get these humanoid robots ready right now, guys. Like they're getting ready to come for your jobs, and they're going to be attached to X402 as well, right? Box. Are they extremely good at it right now? No, but they're working on it. And it will be here sooner rather than later, right? I'm not trying to scare people, but I am trying to make you aware of what's happening around you, right? The world is going digital, the world is going automated, and you can and will be replaced at some point in time. So, what you got left? Investing, right? You see here, shout out to Finance Bull. Over the last 7 days, billions in spot value has gone to XRP from all these different exchanges, from Binance, Upbit, which is in Korea. XRP has a high presence in Korea. I believe Upbit is in Korea. 216, which just happens to be 6 times 6 times 6. Anyways, Coinbase, OKX, Kraken, Bybit, Gate, Bitstamp, BitGet, Crypto.com. Billions of volume coming in. That's 100 million or 1,000 million, excuse me. 1,000 millions in volume coming into XRP there. And he mentions here all of the ETFs are getting. So he's saying here in the last 7 days, they got almost 40 million of inflows. So billions of volume on the exchanges, millions of volume in the ETFs. and that's just XRP, right? Oh man, it's crazy, guys. It's crazy, guys. So for me personally, I'm going to invest in anything that holds value, right? Because I don't want my family to be one of those families that's in the UBI line, right? And they're getting crypto ready for UBI. Just look into what Sam Altman is doing with WorldCoin, right? And I had a show on that, right, where he basically has professed that it's supposed to be there for UBI, right? King Pound, Brother Rue, kicking the knowledge again. I'm still thinking Zebec will correct to 0.00165 or 0.0017 before taking off. I think next week we're going to take off. I think this was just a little pullback to get the RSIs in order. And next week we're about to blast off again. This was let's see what we look like on the day chart right now as far as the RSIs are concerned. Okay, maybe one more day to pull back before we go. But let's see if we go to the lower time frames. Yeah, that 4 hour is fine. 8 hours fine. Yeah, perhaps tomorrow is a little bit of a pullback, but either the 25th, 26th, I think we're wearing right back up. We're going right back up. So, and it could be tomorrow too. It could be tomorrow too. But definitely by the Tuesday, if not tomorrow, if not Monday, we're heading back up. This was just a little RSI cool off. Okay, on the day chart for Zebec, you can see the cool off where it's back underneath the stochastic RSI for the day. But XRP is just steaming. It's way up there. It's way up there. Let's see Bitcoin. Bitcoin kind of is like it needs to cool off some more a little bit, but I think we keep going, and by next week, by the end of next week, we're either in the 80s or the 90s. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. What's going on? What's up, Joey? My man.
My man.
Yield for us in the future. XRP equals yield for us in the future, 100%. Jetpack, what it do, Rue and crew. Hitter all day. What up, Rue, King, Jetpack, and crew? Hitter showing some love, or King Pound showing some love for Hitter. Kevin Garrett of the Rue Crew, Patreon member in the house. Raw in the house. Definitely check out Raw's X page, guys, which we'll go to in a second here. Hitter was good. Some love for Rara. I appreciate it. What's up, Tony S? I believe we'll all be filthy rich based on we're always in the same place at the same time. On here, King Ruel's channel. Let's freaking go. Appreciate it. Hitter all day. Let's get this line from the movie Dazed and Confused. All right. Yeah, I got to get those. I still haven't got those, but I got my list right in front of me. I got to get it today. We were doing some big time work in the Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon. We did an open mic night yesterday. It went 2 hours and 40 minutes. Some knowledge was dropped. A lot of knowledge was dropped. Like when I was just reviewing the open mic night and all the things that were said in the open mic night, like for 2 hours and 40 minutes, we covered so much. Right? Just for the amount that I'm charging for the Patreon for a month, one video is like, it's underselling, right? Just if you just catch one open mic night. that's worth the entire month subscription. It really is. Let's continue on here. Oh yeah, I gotta write that down. Okay. All right, slow y'all. It's probably from the stroke. I don't know if y'all know, but I had a stroke a while back. But physically, I'm good, mentally as well. But it was crazy. All I want to know is coming soon. I cannot wait. What's up, Paul? Andrew? What's up, Robert? Dix? Ruel's a legend for sure. Appreciate this, my guy. In the knowledge, he's always kicking. And shout out to Simon. I saw Simon liked a few of my posts when I was going back and looking at them. Shout out to Simon. I really appreciate that, Simon. No doubt. Let's see here. That's Simon Babakani, by the way. How's it going, Rue? Let's go. Shout out to you, Dave F. Jr. Let's go, Zebec crew. Let me go ahead and share rah stuff, guys. Definitely come over and check out her X page. And she does music videos on Zebec as well, which are fire. You guys should definitely go check those out. Definitely come over and give Rara a like and subscribe, guys. And check out her YouTube. There you can see the music video here. Official music video of powerful Christian worship. Let's play. So you guys definitely come. I don't want to play the whole thing for sure, but definitely come over and give it a like and subscribe. The Warrior Grid Productions, indeed. Shout out to you, Rara. Let's go back here. Hugo loves Monica Long. What up, Rue? Word on the streets is you got some mad alpha on Cubic. Where can I scoop up a 20 sack? I'm fiending. I'm fiending for a fix. Shout out to Hugo. Hugo is gonna be leaving with something. All right, he gonna be leaving with something.
Yeah. I see a big tray. I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Shout out to Denzel here. So the cubicologist. Shout out to the cubicologist, which is Shook Focus Digital. If you mosey on down on my channel here on the homepage, and you'll find Shook right here. Just open it right up here, and you'll see Shook has a few different videos on Cubic. You can see one right there. He probably has a Cubic playlist. Yep, Cubic blockchain, 7 videos. Now, where I got my Cubic from, because you can no longer use what is it called? And they're about to close down this chain too, by the way. I think it's God, what is the chain called? Shoot, what is that exchange called? I can't remember the name of exchange, but anyway, since it's closed down, it doesn't matter. But you can get it on Gate.io US. Bitmart. They're about to close down Bitmart. But if you want to get Cubic, go to Gate.io.us, right? So Gate, you couldn't use it in the US at one point in time, but now they do have a US exchange. So just want to put that in here. You're looking to get Cubic, go to Gate.io US. If you have an old Gate account, it won't work. You have to do all the KYC and do the stuff to sign into a new account. So if you have an old Gate account, it won't work. You got to do specific things for the Gate.io US account. How can I drop cases on a brother from around the way? It must be because I'm always leaving with something. Yeah, we got Denzel in here. We got him in here. We're leaving with something. I know we're gonna end up playing that again before the night's over for sure. I believe everyone here is about to be ready for a new all-time high and beyond. Of course, 100%. What's up, Monarchy International Realty? Cheers, everyone. Oh, snap. Someone said XRP 3 times and summoned homie Jetpack. I like the sound of that. So you're saying that we have a chance. I need to get that too. So you're saying there's a chance. Let me write it down. I also went live to the Patreon with an exclusive video today in which we went into something that's really near and dear to me. A crypto is near and dear to me. Shout out to the Patreon for that one. You guys know what we went into today. And we also covered some new gems as well on Friday, I believe it was. Shout out to the Patreon. Okay, where are we at? Okay. Do you think that Pact will pull back soon? And is it possible to earn rewards by staking Pact? I don't think you can stake Pact yet. But I don't think that Pact is going to pull back. It's so low right now. Pact, let's go ahead and look at it. It's not even 10 billion market cap. 10 million. It's not even 10 million market cap yet. So I doubt it pulls back until we get to something like 10, 20 million market cap. And then people will start to take some profits. Yeah, so right now we're at 7.415 million market cap. Yeah, I don't think it's going to pull back until we at least get to like double this, right? Where some people can start taking them. Like some people have probably already taken profits because they're like 2x up, right? So I don't see it pulling back from here, especially since it kind of broke out above this 0.00196 area. I think it's going to go, at least till we get to 15 to 20 million market cap. Let's see here. Like if we look at something like Handle Pay or something like that had a low market cap, did it get up to that much with market cap? Let's see. Probably didn't get even that high. No, yeah, it just went 6 million market cap and that's it. Wow. I thought it got higher than that. And it may get higher than that when everything happens for Canton in October. I definitely do think Handle Pay will go higher than where it is right now. But yeah, for as far as Pact goes, I don't think we start seeing pullback until we get into the 15 milli area. But keep those questions coming. Zebec has to hit 16 again. There's still sellers. Well, we got some big catalysts coming up whenever the Ripple deal is officially announced. I think that's going to send it through. Clarity, which they mentioned on that Spaces. If we get clarity by 9:15, everything that we heard from Paul Atkins and Donald Trump seems like they want to push clarity through. Okay, so again, like what they just did right now makes it seem like, okay, we don't even care. We don't even need clarity. But it is another catalyst. If it does happen, like September 15th, I think, that'll push everything just higher, right? Because I definitely do think there's money on the sidelines waiting until Genius is fully official. January 18th, and they get official word on clarity. Okay, but I think the bottom is in. I don't think we're going down any lower on Bitcoin. I think it's just in. It just is in. What's up, Donald Austin? New here, D Silent, but Blue, and a beginner, but have a few favorite coins. Good. I'm glad to hear that there's some newbies here. Again, I was just showing you where I think the world is going as far as like speed roommating, robots taking over and taking jobs. Like, it's good to see that you're here and you're taking investing seriously. It's something to see. I imagine it as well, them giving Americans free money through crypto. Yep. That'd be the quickest way to onboard people to stable coins because they'll just get it then. Like, oh, this is just like spending my regular money on my card. There's like really no difference. So why did they call it a stable coin? Like people will really be like that. I think they'll be baffled to understand that, like, oh, this is just bank money, just like the other one. I mean, there is way more into it than that, right? Like, it's tokenized dollar. It's tokenized dollar where they can kind of turn it off like easier than they could turn off bank funds, probably, sort of, maybe, right? But I think once people just realize, oh, it's just as easy as me swiping my card. It's no difference to me than really just spending a real dollar. So I think people will be fine with it. Because think about like how we went through where people were like Great Depression, they were putting money in mattresses, right? To like moving on where we eventually got ATMs and debit cards and credit cards, to moving on to we barely spend cash for anything now in America. Like, unless you're like going to like a gentleman's club or something like that, you're not using cash for anything, right? In America, you're just not. But I think once people get it, that it's just as easy as swiping a card, they'll be fine with it. In Thailand, they phone scam all over the place, street vendors included. Oh, wow. Salute Rue in the chat. Smash the like and subscribe buttons. Yeah, definitely smash the like and subscribe buttons, guys. That'll be a big help to the channel. We're on our way to 10K subs. We're sitting at 8,000 or 9,800. I don't remember, 20 or something like that, 22, 23, something like that. So definitely smash the likes, guys, if you haven't already. Well, I must definitely show that. Definitely smash that like and subscribe button. Will be much appreciated. Let's continue on to our comments. That's why I'm putting my money through the blend. Yep, I keep telling people that things are about to speed up with the use of agentic AI, and the Solstice guy confirmed that at the end of the video there. Southern Charm, what's up? It's about to get pure stupid with AI. People will be amazed, indeed. Let's give you something for that one. Let's give you the Louis Anderson.
Soon I'll be on fries, then the grill. A year or two, I make assistant manager. And that's where the big bucks start rolling in.
With that AI, that's when the big bucks roll in. 1 in a million. Rude, I just got into Pat. Now you got me getting more Zebec. You're a horrible influence to my tween self. Okay, 40-ish. Hey, you're only as old as you feel out here, Phantom Beat. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you, bro. Let's see here. If you have questions for the Zebec team, reach out to Ben in the Zebec Global Discord community. Some more spaces coming up soon. Thank you, Ra. I'll definitely do that. I'll definitely check out the Zebec Global Discord. I'm in there. I just don't get on Discord enough. Shout out to you. Thank you for that information, Ra. Let's give you the show notes.
When I say, who's the master? You say,
Macho and Charlie Murphy, indeed. Harold Washington, you can win with Jesse. What's up, Sean 6? You'll be learning out XRP for yield all day. Indeed. Smash the like and subscribe and tap. Root, you see that reaction video to Longboom Compute by XRP Lab? XRP Lab destroyed Longview Compute. It was so bad and hilarious. I suggest you check that out. Nobody, like, let's not destroy my guy Scott. I know he's more of a Canton guy, but I'm still friends with my guy Scott. No need to destroy him, but I'll definitely check out the video. That's my guy Scott. Like, really no bad talk for him needed. I know that, like, we all joke around on the shout out to the crypto verdict, right? And it's really only me, Max, and Crux that are really, like, down for the cause for XRP for real, right? It's really me, Max, and Crux against everybody, right? With the whole Detroit versus everybody type of deal, right? Me, Max, and Crux versus everybody against that. But Longview, he's still my boy out here. But I'll definitely check out the video just to see if it's a good video. It's a good video. But shout out to my guy Scott there. I'll buy XRP because Ripple is literally in the White House. Indeed, where you got Brad Garlinghouse opening the door for Trump, like he's like his his doorman. But it's like, hey, that's the president, bro. I'm opening the door for him too. You know what I mean? You got this billionaire guy opening the door for another billionaire guy, right? Shout out to Brad and real, like, Kansas City values there, right, bro? Like he's a very accomplished guy, but he can still open the door for the president. Very humble man, right? Very humble guy for that. Shout out to him. But yeah, you can see Brad at the White House. Let's bring that up. That's a good clip, by the way. Let's bring that clip up here. It's on Paul Atkinson's site. And like, what a cool dude, Brad Garlinghouse, to open the door for the president like that, right? Let's see here. Paul Atkins posts a lot. Like, let's see. We'll get to it here. One second. So we're doing it live here, guys. Doing it live. Okay, there we go.
Thank you, Mr. President, for having us here today. From day one, you've made our nation's financial dominance and innovation job one. We at the SEC are delivering on your agenda. We're making IPOs great again, to continue on your theme, by cutting red tape that discourages companies from going public. Under your leadership, Mr. President, the IPO market is booming. Since Inauguration Day, 583 companies have gone public, and that's up 75% compared to the final year and a half of the Biden administration. And those companies have raised an impressive $208 billion, and that's nearly 4 times the amount raised during the final year and a half of the previous administration. So that's just not incremental progress. That is a turnaround. You've committed to making the United States the crypto capital of the world. And yesterday, the SEC, I'm proud to say, took another significant step to deliver on that. Our proposal, the crypto assets rule, would provide crypto entrepreneurs like those here in this room and job creators the certainty to raise capital in the United States using digital assets. This action is consonant with our belief that the most important priority is for Congress to send the Clarity Act to your desk for your signature. And the SEC is doing everything we can to support that work. So thank you again, Mr. President, to ensure that we continue to have the strongest markets in the world, to reshore innovation, and to welcome, yes, a whole new generation of investors through the Trump accounts. So under your leadership, we will make sure that the greatest advances of the technological frontier are right here in America. Thank you very much.
So very, very cool there. And you saw Brad Garlinghouse there the whole time, right? Like, one of the things I heard, somebody say was maybe they use crypto to pay off the national debt. Now, that would be crazy if that was to happen, right? Like, I can't imagine what happens to the dollar in value if you do something like that, that there's no national debt and you pay it off with crypto, right? I can't imagine what that does to the dollar's price. But I know I think it was Ghost who said something like, imagine that XRP would have to be like $1,000 for them to just give the escrow to the US and pay off the debt. So that would achieve 2 things. The dollar would probably go up like crazy, right? And XRP escrow would be gone. That would take out like half of XRP's price. Okay, here it is. That Ghost said this here. If the US used Ripple's 32.28 billion XRP in escrow to fully wipe out the 40 trillion national debt, the price would need to hit 1,241. Can't argue with that math. I understand there's not that many people that hold XRP. So for XRP to go to $1,241, a lot of us in the crowd, a lot of us would be millionaires, right? But not too many people would be millionaires, to be honest, right? It would just be a select few, right? And most people are probably going to burn through that money in like 2 seconds, right? But if you're in the Patreon, you will know different ways you can get passive income off of that money. And you're not just going to go out there and just blow it. But anyways, something, food for thought to think about. Like, maybe you might always want to hold on to 1,000 XRP just in case it skyrockets somehow to $1,000, and you can sit with a nice cool million bucks, right? Just something to think about. Man, what a scary and beautiful time to be an investor. There are so many opportunities for people to build wealth with an investment in a singular project, but most people will get scared and never try, right? And Carlton White says here, Rue, imagine 15 years from now when people were saying all you needed was 0.1% XRP and you'll be fine, right? Right? And I can imagine that too. I could really imagine that. because there are not too many XRP holders, right? And we lost more XRP holders. Think about this. Think about being like holding XRP for so long and you sold because it went under $1. Like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, Priyanka was cute. Priyanka had some nice she had some amazing assets. She definitely did. Priyanka was good for sure. For sure, Priyanka was out there. She was nice. She better get her a tech, bro. Yeah, exactly. You know, some of them were out. Some of them was out there. Yeah, they said they were there for roommates, but they were really hunting for a partner for real. I'm in the Bay Area. Crap, it's ridiculous out here. I bought my house in 2018 when rates and home prices were still cheap. Indeed. And a lot of people did, right? If you bought a house before 2018, consider yourself pretty lucky, because anybody buying a house now, like, they're poorly constructed. That's another thing we'll probably get into in a future show. The houses are poorly constructed now. So you're buying what is probably back in the day in 2018 a $200,000 house for like $1 million, and it's way shittier construction, right? But we'll get into that in the future show for sure. If you can make it in the Bay, you can make it anywhere, right? Right? I was surprised. I went out to San Francisco one time, and like some French fries, plain old French fries, were like $12, and this was years ago. I said, what? $12 for some freaking fries? Like the Oneida or Oneida, like you just like just regular old plain old fries, no cheese, no nothing. I was shocked, bro. Wider the wealth gap, the more prisons will be built. That too, and prisons are a private business. Shout out to the Crux of Crypto. Smash those likes. Definitely will highlight Crux's channel now. Definitely come out and check out my guy Crux of Crypto. Let's see what he has here recently. One on these 5 cryptos will run. One here with Tau, and another here with Caspa. And definitely check out the show me and him did 2 weeks ago. Here, it was a banger of a show. Like, the editing was smooth. Like, the questions were great. Definitely check out the show Crux and I did. A banger of a show, guys, for sure. Keep DCAing. Indeed, the elites call us useless eaters no matter what race you are. See, there you go. Right? Indeed. For real, King Pound. UBI equals control, monarchy, international realty. Indeed. I feel you, Rue. Black Prince, appreciate it, Joey. Hi, what's up, Tony, with the peppers in the house? Giving some love to Crux of Crypto. I'm an X-Man, sir. There you go. Little X-Man love right there. XRP, XLM, XDC, XPR, and SHX. Let's go. Hey, a little love for Crux there. Rue has a heart of gold, trying to help everyone. Hey man, I'm just trying to make people aware of what's happening out here. It's if you're in your own bubble, you don't realize that there are people out here speed roommating. And again, like, some of these people were like old enough to be my mother or father out here speed roommating, right? And that's just hard to see for me, man. That's hard to see for me. Because imagine going through your whole life, you've retired, and you think you got enough for retirement, and then inflation comes out here, kicks your ass, and you got to go back to work at 60 or 70 years old. Like, look at this man. This man is old enough to be my father. He's out here trying to find a roommate. Like that just that hurts my soul, bro. That hurts my soul. Like I don't want this to be any one of us out here, right? So you gotta invest out here, guys. You gotta invest. Like this can't be me. This can't be you. This can't be our fathers or our uncles. This cannot. This can't be that, right? But yeah, shout out to Priyanka. Priyanka, if you see this video and you still need a roommate, girl, holla at me. We can help you out over here. We'll get you situated, Priyanka. Like it's either me or Hugo. I think that was Hugo. We'll get you. We'll find you, girl. You'll have a room. Okay. You'll have a room, Priyanka. Just get in contact. My email is attached to my channel there. You just go ahead, put in an email, girl. We got you. We got you, girl. We got you. Either me or Hugo, we got you covered, girl. Don't worry. We got you. We got you. All right. But for real, in all seriousness, like yeah, this man's old enough to be my father, and he's out here looking for a roommate, man. I hope God knows I hope he found a roommate and bro is doing okay. For real. I really truly mean that. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the chats here. Shout out to Terrell with the $50 super chat. Coming in with a 50. We gotta give Terrell a leaving with something for that one. Whoa.
Yeah,
boy.
I see a big tray. I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Go Terrell. Thank you, brother. Very generous. 50 million pack. Aiming for 100. Let's go out here, Terrell. Let's go, Terrell, boy. Appreciate you, my brother. Let's go. What an endorsement for Pact right there. Terrell's putting his money where his investments are, baby. Let's go. Shout out to you for that, Terrell. Appreciate it, brother. What up, everybody? What's up, nosy neighbor? Phantom Beat, I like what you did there. Crush with the love. Good looking out, Rue. I want better for my family, brother. I know we all do out here, right? We really want better for our family. And I want better for our families as well, bro. I really do. Let's continue on here. Again, 2030, the world goes digital. Ricky Ricardo Films. Do y'all think XRP price movement will eventually decouple the traditional stock market and value will not fluctuate with Bitcoin either? Well, again, I think, like I showed you guys with the ETFs and the National Bank of Canada being in an XRP ETF, a lot of these companies may, instead of actually owning it outright, they may opt for owning the ETFs. Either way, we benefit here, all right? Of course, I showed you here with the case of Bitcoin, some companies are outright just buying it and putting it in their treasuries, so they have a different, a couple different routes that they can go. Let's see some other big companies on this list here. Do we have any other big companies? Okay, here we go. Binance, Strike, of course. Tezos, Massachusetts Mutual. BitMEX. We got a fair amount of companies there. Also, from the Bay Area, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm stacking as much as I can with crypto. The economy is gearing up to be worse than it is now, and I'm not trying to be stuck financially 100%. Like, if inflation is just going to keep killing people, right? And these robots are ready. They are. They're getting ready. That's why people better be ready, man. Bro, that robot did a flying spinning kick. It did, bro. It did. And Elon has his Optimus bots, right? So they can tie all of this right into X402, X Money, all of that. Like, definitely check out the TV show Upload. It'll show you everything that they're planning, right? We talked about this in the Patreon, that show Upload, and I checked out that show Upload. It's literally like just seeing into the future. So, like, imagine now they get these robots to the point where they can upload your consciousness into a robot, right? It's craziness. Or that they have a robot carry your child. Instead of you getting married, you pay someone for their embryo, you put it in a robot, and they put your man juice in there, and 7 months later, or 9 months later, you get a child. You're just responsible for feeding it. They hook up some type of feeding tube that kind of mimics an umbilical cord, right? And the robot's having a baby or something like that. Like, I could see something like that happening. Or the sex bots for both men and women, right? Like, all of that's a possibility. And uploading people's consciousness into these things. They got robots with one skin layer. Now, even the strippers are going to be cooked 100%. 100%. The Megan Fox bots, the Russian Natasha looking bots, Ukrainian Russian Natasha looking bots. Patrick Steven laughing. Watching channels like yours to prep is the key. Thanks for this live. Got to stay stacking my ZBCN and XRP. Salute. Indeed. What's up, Purple Rain? Got to get a cattle prod for those robots. Indeed. I can see elites paying people to fight robots as a job. I could see that as well, right? Nobody cares. Work harder. With that said, without a further ado, got to go. God bless. Good day. Yeah, I mean, of course, like nobody at the end of the day, nobody cares. But that's really most people's thoughts about it, right? Work harder. But some people are not even aware that they need to work hard. That's my point of it, right? Some people are not aware that in 2 seconds, your job is going to be replaced by robots. 2 seconds, you're going to be replaced by AI. So 401k, investing, or UBI, and like a group home for people who can't afford anything. They had that in Upload, right? Where people were in this, like, it was literally like a group home for people that couldn't afford a regular place. Like one of the characters' mothers were in a group home where they were sharing living spaces with like thousands of people because they couldn't afford an apartment. They just put them all in a mega hotel room where nobody could afford anything, and that was their living. It was one little space that was the bathroom, the sleep area, the everything. That's coming. Again, I know no one's gonna care when everybody is there. No one is going to care. But again, talking to everybody here, get prepared. Get prepared. So you're not that. And you're not there where nobody cares about you. Right? Um, Ricky Ricardo's is like, he's being cut and dry about it, but that is where we're headed. And people are going to be cut and dry about it. No one in our position, right, with crypto and currency and investments are going to care, but I'd rather you be in that spot than at the group home. Tomorrow will be a Green Day watch. Hitter all day calling the shot right now as we hit the Skull and Bones number 322, right, of people watching. Tyran Copeland, I was here when ZBCN hit that 00 or 0007. Let's go. Trust me, bro. Hey, man. Zebec will retrace back to 0017 before the next leg up, and that might be the case. I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think it's going to be green tomorrow too. Really, to be honest with you, if not tomorrow, Tuesday, right? So hopefully we don't have another October 10 event. Well, I don't think we're going to have that pretty anytime soon. But I think, honestly, we're going to run all the way up to October. And then when October hits, we're going to pull back. It's going to be exactly opposite of what people thought. People thought we were going to run in October. We'll run all the way up until October and then drop. And then like pull back some, right? On stack even more. Some love from Rara. Check this out. XRP Lab destroyed Longview Compute. Again, I'm big time friends with our guy Scott. I don't want to, I don't want him to get destroyed, but I'll definitely check out the video. Until I see that 0007, I'm not convinced Zebec is taking off again. Wait until I see that 007. Okay, so Tyran Copeland saying he wants it to pass the previous high, which was 007. And until then, he's not convinced, right? I understand how you feel about that, but I think here at some point the rubber will meet the road and we're going to pass that up. And that's going to be a big thing, right? Because that was the previous, I think last year's high. Let's zoom out and get that for sure, for real here. Yeah, so right here, right? So once we pass that, it'll be on to the races, so to speak. So let me see here. Let me put that there. Again, what are some things that can take us there? Ripple deal, Clarity Act, Genius Act. Again, once they turn on a faucet where they can do real-time payroll in America, these things might go pretty crazy, right? Like, where will they stop? We'll definitely have to, check in on the RSIs and see where the RSIs are going to stop these guys at. But it's going to be pretty crazy, I think. I think the biggest one to look at will be like the 2.5 cent mark. That usually is a place where a lot of things end up kind of stopping at, which is the 2.5 cent mark. But I think we're going to plow through that like big time. Here's the chart. So he was referencing, let's maximize that plane. He was referencing right here where we were in 2025. Got all the way to 007. That one guy, $5 super chat. I've been speed dating in Thailand for 20 years. Wow. Cute Thai girls. LOL. I didn't know you had a stroke, bro. Good to see you're doing well. Thank you, bro. Yeah. It's crazy. Hicks. That PME guy loves the brown bunnies. LOL. 20 years, man. How many you take? Yeah, those brown Thai bunnies, Filipino bunnies. Some love from Rara. Live stream watch parties on Zebec and XRP charts and crypto beats. Thanks, brother. No problem, Rara. Tyran Copeland. No, I'm congratulating you. I go to the DR and have my fun, same action, different location. We got some passport bros over here. Tyran Copeland and that one guy. Big love from Terrell again. 50 million pack aiming for 100. Appreciate you, my brother. Safe trade for quick. What's up, Rashad? Smash the like and subscribe. What blockchain is packed on? It is on Ethereum, I believe. Ethereum. Rue and XRP fam, check out XRP Lab. Probably the most informed person to speak on XRP I've ever seen. Now, that's saying something because one of the most informed people I've seen to speak on XRP, of course, Max, right? Definitely Max. Is Jesse Apex Crypto Insights. That guy broke out some crazy level stuff, right? And him and Max is just like an XRP treat, right? Now to say that he's outdoing those two guys, that would be some crazy things, some crazy stuff. Who heard Mickle dissing Smoke the other day on X? Well, I like Smoke too. Smoke, pound for pound, day for day, post for post. Most value of any guy on X, bar none, talking about XRP, right? Only one who might become close to Smoke, even close to Smoke, is Token Nicer, right? Which he did a collaboration for my channel. Really cool for you to do that, Token Nicer. He doesn't usually show his face like that, so it was really cool and kind for him to do that for my channel. Man, shout out to Token Nicer. Like pound for pound, Smoke best value on X. Let's show Smoke's page, right? I don't know how much Smoke makes from X or whatnot, but I'm sure however much he makes is not enough for all the value, all the stuff that he posts, all the official documents, all of everything. Everybody references Smoke. Like whatever he gets paid from X is not enough. It's not enough. Okay. So shout out to Smoke. Like, give this guy his flowers. And if you're not following him, you should be following him. Like the documentation that this man posts day after day after day, right? Hands down, cannot be beaten. Cannot be beaten. There's so many channels reference his information that he posts and stuff like that. So I hope TikTok I hope X is breaking him off a bag because he sure deserves it. He sure deserves it. Yeah, I have some investments in Handle Pay. I'm much more high on Zebec for sure, but I have a little bit in the Handle Pay. Clarity vote September 15th and FOMC meeting September 15th, 16th. Okay, he said that Smoke's research is BS. I don't know how he could say that, Mikkel. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen what Mikkel said about that or anything like that. But hands down, Smoke always shows his documentation. All of it. You know what I mean? Like, and he's been in rooms where it's like they're doing some they're doing some talks, and he obviously must have some type of credentials to be in these rooms. So I don't know what's up. Why Mikkel would even say anything like that. It kind of reminds me, if that, again, I haven't seen what was said. Kind of reminds me of, like, Zach Rector talking about Claver, and it's like, why would you guys even ever talk about each other? What's the point of that? Like, you know what I mean? But we'll see. Retail wants a one button solution. Yes, Smokes. Okay, you posted a link. If you can send me the link to it in my my DMs are open. I'll try to play it for people. But that's crazy. That's crazy. Is Zenith out yet? I would love to get into Zenith if it's out. As far as I knew, you couldn't get into Zenith yet. Is this right? Okay, this is not the right Zenith. I'm interested into Zenith on Canton. I'm very interested in that. Trying to look up and see if it's out yet. As far as I know, it's not out yet. Can you guys not hear me? Somebody said sound. I think my sound is fine. Okay, let's see here. What's up, Esco? Jay? What's the over-under on the markets eating crap after the Jackson Hole meeting on 27th of August? Well, Jackson Hole, huh? I don't know. I think we'll be fine. That's a full moon date. I think we're fine. I think we'll be fine there. Wait, y'all buy assets just to make a couple $1,000. The whole 1K coins for $1 million. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Boss Kong. How come ZBCN is going down? Everything's going down. Everything's pulling back here. From the high, if I could show you here, and it's not really going down. It's just coming back a little bit from the high. So if you look at the RSI here, a little free kind of tutorial class here for you. It was real hot on the RSI, so it had to pull back a little bit. So did Bitcoin. So did XRP. Everything was hot as far as the RSI is concerned. So it had to pull back. Okay. So that's to answer your question, Anthony Manis. But it's up just like everything else in the market, just a little pullback because everything got too hot. Everyone I know is taking second or third retirement jobs. See, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. Like a lot of people that retired and thought they were done, they had to come back because inflation kicked their tail. Like whatever the hell they say the inflation numbers are, they're gaming the system. In the last 4 years, we've inflated like 300 to 400%. 300 to 400% as far as rent, food, a car, insurance, the things that you have to pay for is up 300 to 400%. So I don't know what the hell with the numbers where they're like, oh, inflation's only been 2% or 3% under Trump, blah, 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 blah. No. Inflation has been 300 to 400% when it comes to rent, when it comes to food, when it comes to buying a car. All of that stuff is like way more expensive in the last 4 years than it's ever been here in America. Favor for a favor. What's up, Booker? I may be deranged, but I'm buying Zebec anywhere below 0.004. Indeed, indeed. UPI and 15-minute cities. Indeed. XRP Nelson. Indeed. We'll talk more about 15-minute cities too. We'll get into that as well. November ISO 20022 kicks in November. Now, Phantom Beat, I looked that up and I thought it was just for a date, like for a date that they're going to have an enhanced date in November. So I don't see why that's a big deal. Tell me if I'm missing something there. Keep stacking, don't want to be in no camp like MASH. Indeed. Thinking bullish, I like to think that we'll make moves with our tokens. I have doubts since Swift is going live at 25, as well as FedWire in 25 didn't affect the markets with ISO 20022. Well, I think the difference here is Clarity and Genius are going to make it so that stable coins are going to be used worldwide, and coins that take money from those stable coins and somehow get it into their token are going to win. Near's doing that. Zebec is doing that. Hyperliquid's doing that. Those are the coins that are going to be the biggest gainers for people. I designed a smart contract every time I forget to hit the like button. Nice. $100 of XRP swaps for Safe Moon will teach that Phantom. Oh my God. Definitely don't trade your XRP for Safe Moon. My goodness. Some love for Rara. Why can't you buy? I don't know what you're talking about there. It's there. Zenith Network, Coinbase. I'm not sure. So is this the same Zenith that's Canton? Let me know. Oh, wow. Something just really picked up here on my chart here of stuff. Ooh. Yeah, a few different things here. That's great to look at on my freaking thing here. Got really distracted by that. I don't know what Zenith Network is. This is definitely not Canton Zenith. I don't know what this is. Yeah, I don't know what this is. This is not Canton Zenith. That is not Canton Zenith. Mickle works with Claver. Zebec fueling up on premium explosive gasoline. Indeed, Tony. Yes. Salute, Rue. been a long time since I picked your brain in the chat. It has been a while. It has been a while, brother. D Curry, hey, good people. No, it's not out yet. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Some love from Rara for Tony. And let's see here. Did I get all our comments here? Okay, so yeah, we just had a blast from the past show with a 2-hour long live stream here. Gotta love that. If you made it to the end here, put Zebec and XRP in the chat. Once the live stream ends, go ahead and write a comment. Right, I really need you guys to do that. I really need you guys to do that. It helps spread the video around. So as soon as the live stream ends, please write a comment, XRP or Zebec, either one. But it'll help spread the video around. And definitely like and subscribe if you like what you hear here. And I hope to see some of you guys hopefully in the Patreon as well. Thank you guys so much for coming through. And we're out of here. Peace.